and start. I'll call the meeting to order. And is there anyone who is new and would like to introduce themselves?
Hey, Greg. Yeah, this is Mark from the City of Salinas, Community Development Analyst and Coordinator for our SOAR team under Keisha Lopez, our Homeless Services Manager.
Hi, Mark.
This is my first time on this.
Yeah, I recognize you. You've been working on the solution set. I appreciate all that.
Yeah, of course.
Good to have you. Anyone else?
Thank you.
I can't remember if we've had Gustavo introduce himself, so we'll do it again just in case. I'm in a new role at DST. This is Jocelyn with Downtown Streets team, and so Gustavo has taken over for me in the director role, so I will hand it over to him.
Yes, I did introduce myself during the last meeting, but I don't mind doing it again. I've been in this role for about 2 months now since our last. I think I started pretty early when I had this meeting last. And it's been a wonderful journey getting to know the Salinas community, getting to know all the contracts, and I'm just really excited to be here.
We're glad to have you, Gustavo. Thank you. And thank you, Jocelyn. All right, anyone else?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Camacho. I'm new here. It's my first time in this meeting. Again, Jose Camacho, lead counselor for the Community Human Services Street Outreach programs, as well as the co-chair of the Outreach Committee from the Coalition of Homeless Services.
Great. Good to have you, Jose.
And hey everyone, I don't know if I've introduced myself previously, but I'm Anthony Feeden. I'm program manager with San Benito County and here to assist in a presentation for you all.
I've attended in the past, but it's been a little while. My name is Travis Bai. I am a management analyst with Aging and Adult Services for the County of Monterey Department of Social Services. And I work with our Home Safe program through Adult Protective Services, which is a homelessness prevention program that is funded through CDSS. So, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good to be back on the meeting.
As far as my comments go, I wanted to just say a few words about the summit. And I know many of you were there, but I thought it was fabulous. I thought really well run. And I'd just like to compliment Katrina and her staff and all the volunteers who helped plan and put that on, and the speakers and participants as well. It was a great event. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed seeing everyone and listening to the speakers and all that. So let's all give a big virtual round of applause to Katrina, her staff, and everyone involved.
Yes, and Donna Smith and her team, Roxanne team from the County of Monterey, Alex, Soltero, all in this room right now, so literally could not have done it without them. That is our dream team. They are forever my summit folks, so you guys can't back out now. We're in it for life.
That's it. See, that'll serve you for doing a good job.
Good morning, everybody. Henry Gomez with Hope Housing. Just giving an update. Our current residents total of 118. We have 36 female, 44 male, 1 non-binary, and 37 children. We're knocking at the door at full capacity here. We only have a few beds left, and we're happy to be of service.
Morning, thank you. I just wanted to share an update on behalf of Community Action Partnership. Our Community Action Plan has been finalized, and we're just waiting for it to get approved by our Board of Supervisors. And so that means in a few months we will be releasing our RFP for funding. And so if anyone on this call is interested in receiving notification about the RFP, maybe you're interested in applying for additional funding, please feel free to reach out to me now and provide your email, and I will add you to our mailing list. Once the RFP is released, our team unfortunately will no longer be able to discuss the RFP, promote the RFP, or send it to you. So now is a good time to get on the list. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. At HRC, we have we're going to be closing out our second location at 232 Monterey Street in Salinas and bring our staff back to our main office on 60 West Market Street just due to some funding changes. So all of our services and all of our staff will be located at our main office at 60 West Market Street. I also wanted to note that a lot of our wait lists for many of our programs are fairly low. And so we've been trying to do more outreach opportunities and just want to open it up to any of the shelters or any of the other agencies if you think it'd be helpful to have HRC come and share our services and try to get folks referred to our programs. Please reach out to me. I would love to send some of my staff out there and do a presentation on our services and how people can get connected. We do have on June 6th a fundraiser at Carmel Crossroads Barbecue. It's an all-day fundraiser, but you'll catch HRC towards the dinner side if you want to swing by and say hello. And a large percentage, I think it's up to 28% right now, of the proceeds, anything that you buy that day at that restaurant will go to HRC. And then lastly, we have 2 landlord workshops that we are organizing. We have one in Salinas for all Salinas HRC landlords or people who are landlords or considering working with HRC. The first one for Salinas is on June 17th, and then we have one in Soledad on September 10th. But I would like to have any agencies that would like to host an info table to feel free to reach out to me. I'd like to have some info tables and just kind of create a non-pressure environment for landlords to learn about all of our nonprofits and what we do and how they can get involved. So if that is something that would interest you in the Salinas location one or the Soledad one, or both, let me know so that way I can help get you connected.
Good morning, everyone. Sophia Kier here with Interim. I'm pleased to announce that our May 30th mental health ceremony, we are all sold out. 250 tickets have been given out. It will be a wonderful event celebrating our clients as well as our 50th anniversary. I also wanted to share that we're going to have a 50th anniversary celebration and fundraiser in October, and I'll find the link for those tickets and share it in the chat. Lastly, I'm pleased to announce that we were awarded $12 million to build a project that we're calling Marina Kai, which will provide 23 units for those who are homeless and who have a serious mental health diagnosis. That was awarded via a competitive process from HCD Home ARPA, and we are still busy fundraising for this project since with all the tariffs, our construction costs have significantly gone up from the time that we started that whole application process. It is both exciting and also unnerving since we have over $1 million gap that we now have to fill.
We have 12 individuals that we are desperately seeking so that we can save their vouchers. They have not turned in any of their recertification information, and their certifications are at least 90 days past due. So really they're supposed to be terminated, but I didn't want to terminate them. So the caseworker is reaching out, and she's going to work with Katrina and give her the client's information, and I'm sure she'll probably be reaching out to some of you because I think they're in your caseload. We have 3 that are... 2 that are in family unification, 2 that were in the homeless set-aside program, and 6 that are in EHV. And so because we're not issuing any new vouchers, if we can't have this settled before July 1, we won't have any choice but to terminate them, and they will not be able to come back after that date, regardless of the reason, and get reinstated. Because we won't be allowed to reissue the voucher back to the person, especially at EHV. It's been on hold ever since last year that you can reissue any vouchers. So if you get an email from Katrina's team after she coordinated with my caseworker about any of these people, if you could please assist them and just go on Rent Cafe or bringing the information to the office so that we don't have to terminate their vouchers, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, let's all see if we can figure that out. Hate to see vouchers go away. They're hard to come by these days.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go to our showcase for today, the County of San Benito presentation. And
thank you very much, Katrina and your team, for allowing us to provide an overview of San Benito County, our homeless and housing programs overview. It's been a while since agencies has provided this type of overview, and over the years, I don't think we have, so I did request to allow us. So this will be a summary of the homeless and housing programs. So this unit is a unit that is within Health and Human Services Agency, and the division is Community Services and Workforce Development. And under this unit, only homeless and housing programs is what we manage under the direction of Anthony Feeden as our program manager.
Okay, so you're going to take your car or my car?
So this is just a glimpse of the individuals who are homeless based on the PIP count. And then this just gives you comparison from 2011 to 2024. But just looking at the numbers from the 2022 count to the 2024, we had a huge increase of about 76%, jumping from 357 to 621. So first of all, this is a property that we purchased. It's 4.66 acres, and it has two separate homes. As you can see here, this picture, one of the homes is very close to being fully rehabbed, and the second one we managed to secure some funding, and that's going to be the next phase. This will be used for providing housing for homeless families. So that is a plan, and as you can see, we still have a lot of land in here, which will be enough for us to expand homelessness project, the housing project, for us to offer to our clients. We have that in the vision. We actually have some designs already that we created for another proposal. But anyways, this is a site that we will someday expand, and I think this is going to be great because it's also going to meet the Lead Me Home plan to reduce homelessness. We are behind, and this will certainly help with that. So Home Key 2, we did secure a Home Key 2 grant in the amount of a little over $2.4 million. And this is a project that is building 11 units from the Home Key grant. Now, this project is a two-phased project. The first project is the 5 transitional housing units, which was a grant through the Leadership Council, the COC, to build those 5 units. Now, this project has been severely delayed. We've been waiting on PG&E equipment for more than 2 years, and it's been promised this month, so we're getting so close. So I'm very hopeful. Other county staff, RMA, is very hopeful that it will get here. As a matter of fact, it might be here. And we had a meeting last week, and they did say they're still on track to receiving it. They have not delayed the equipment, so as soon as we get it, we're pretty much ready to. They're going to need to install it, and then we need to finalize it and get it inspected and all that. But this is coming really close. There's been huge delays, but nevertheless, it's almost done. It'll produce 16 units in total, and again, 5 will be transitional housing units and 11 permanent supportive housing units. The Home Resource Center, as you know, was built in the past. In 2017, its capacity is 50 beds in total in the entire facility, but we did build 6 transitional housing units, so we reduced the capacity to 44 beds. And we secured CDBG monies to make this happen. The majority of it, I would say about 90%, was CDBG, or 80 or so, and then the rest was through agency funding that we also fundraised. And our operator is Community Homeless Solutions. It's year-round. So one of the things with operations, managing fund developing to operate the shelter is very challenging, and I'll say that with heavy heart because it's always a struggle. How are we going to secure additional monies? And there's many grants that do not fund operations, and it's such a drawback. But nevertheless, there is a need, and it's all about partnerships with state departments, with the Leadership Council, with the COC, with the Board of Supervisors, the City Council. So we've managed to keep the doors open. However, it's been challenging to keep them operating 24/7. So 6 months out of the year, we have them 24/7, and the other 6 months, it's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then during the day, they leave, and then they come back at the end of the day. So we feel that with additional monies, we would. I mean, that's the goal, to have more day activities and operations 24/7 year round.
And I'm going to run through the programs. A lot of these have recently been folded into our department so that we can become that specialized division for homeless services. I tried to do it alphabetically, but as I was reviewing it, some of them aren't exactly alphabetical. But starting with bringing families home, I recall someone on the line is familiar with some of these programs. I forget the gentleman's name, but we work with our child welfare division, and we're working with families who are at risk of homelessness and have a court order for family reunification. So it's not just rent, it's also additional financial assistance that contributes to stable housing, habitability payments, landlord incentives, and we're also, of course, providing case management. Then we also have our housing support program. This is another program designed to help families, specifically folks that are CalWORKs eligible and are at risk of homelessness or experiencing homelessness. This is a rapid rehousing program. And we provide hotel vouchers, we provide rental assistance, and case management so that they're able to transition into manageable leases at the end of their assistance. Similarly, we also like to bring families home. It also allows us to support supplemental payments for habitability and incentives for landlords. Next slide, please. Home Safe. This is another program that was recently folded into our division alongside bringing families home. This is a partnership with our APS division, providing housing support to older adults or dependent adults that are at risk of homelessness. Really, what we're finding is that need is very diverse. So some folks are suffering abuse and neglect or exploitation, and that could be anything from, physical mistreatment all the way to scams, which I think is the majority of the cases that we've been seeing over the last year or two. Folks preying on older folks' life savings. And so we come in and we help them with credit repair, even potentially covering costs of mortgage payments if necessary. On the less serious side of the spectrum, we also provide assistance with hoarding abatement, things that are restricting folks from being able to inhabit their residence. And of course, case management and supportive services, always a part of that. HDAP, we're seeing a lot of progress with our HDAP program, another that was recently folded into our division, and we're actually using those funds largely right now during our encampment sweeps. There's not enough resources to go around for everyone. So the HDAP program allows us to really focus on the most medically indigent, high utilizers, the people that need the support the most. In addition to connecting them with a disability advocate, we're also putting them up in hotels when appropriate, and there's no additional available emergency shelter. And once again, comes with case management. But we're really trying to put this program forward when we're doing our street-based outreach. A lot of folks need that assistance with applying for disability or appealing, or getting back on after being discontinued. And then, of course, in the process, it's estimated on average between 1 to 3 years. As that process occurs, we're providing rental and housing navigation support. Then we have our Helping Hands program. I think this is our crown jewel. This is our permanent supportive housing program for chronically homeless individuals. It's kind of led the way with a lot of the other things we're trying to do with our HDAP program because it does reach a similarly indigent population. So they must have documented disabilities, but we are also providing that support to get them to their doctor's appointments. We've got a lot of excitement from our participants after the first year. They realize that, they don't have to be exited from another shelter. They're actually in their forever home. And they're able to develop those close relationships with their care teams. That's really paying dividends down the road. We currently have 12 to 14 leased units for families and individuals, and we're hoping to expand that in the short future. So our HHAP, we've applied for many rounds of HHAP funding, directed to homeless adults and more recently transition-age youth in San Benito County. It's another program designed to provide rapid rehousing services and rental assistance up to 12 months. This is another service that is huge for our outreach team to make connections with members of the community. We've seen a lot of interest in youth in the area, so we do partner regularly with our Youth Alliance for promoting the program and for doing case management. And then we also do referrals to emergency shelter as necessary. HOPWA are housing opportunities for people with AIDS, for providing supportive services for individuals that have a diagnosis of AIDS and HIV. And this is a smaller program. In our small county, there isn't such a large population of folks that fall into this category, but for those that do, we have permanent supportive housing for them, and we've provided that housing for a handful of individuals over the past at least 2 or 3 years, so it's been very successful for them. Once again, case management and supportive services, but another big asset to that program is the food vouchers and assistance maintaining care with dental providers. And we're actually going to start outreach to our local hospital and community clinics to see if we can open up those referral pathways so that we can get more folks into that program. PLHA, since I started about 4 months ago, PLHA has been on hold. These are the numbers that San Benito County and the city of Hollister and San Juan Bautista were awarded in the past. I think we're optimistic that we'll be receiving another disbursement ultimately within the next year or so, and that is directed toward emergency shelter and street outreach services.
And as Anthony mentioned, that is put on hold, so the PLHA state application process is open right now. One of the requirements is to have an adopted housing element. We don't have an adopted housing element. The Board of Supervisors yesterday did approve it, so it'll be submitted to HCD. When they review and certify it, then we would be eligible. So we don't lose the funding for this round. When we apply next, we will have access to this round's funding as well as next round funding.
And our TBRA program is in a similar state. It's a 12-month rental assistance program helping prevent evictions for low-income families. And it's really important that we match folks with fair market value resources so that they're able to sustain those payments after the program ends. We make our payments directly to the landlord, and there must be a lease established.
And we did receive notification of our application that we submitted, and $1.5 million. So we can't wait to have this contract in place and serve our public. This is a very popular program. When we roll it out, we get applications, a lot of applications, and money's run out or at least obligated fairly quick. So we'll make sure to release it as soon as we get the contracts out.
I got to add that 1.5 million to that slide. That's a big number. And then our transitional housing program, another core component of the services that we provide. So Enrique mentioned our Home Resource Center. It's a really interesting collaboration where we now have transitional housing units attached to the building, and it provides temporary housing for 6 individuals for at least 12 months, focusing on them developing the skills they need for long-term housing stability and self-sufficiency. So Enrique mentioned we've got additional transitional housing coming online through Project Home Key. And more recently, we've launched 5 RV units for rapid rehousing and connecting people with our shelter into temporary housing. And so as people are referred to our transitional housing opportunities, we're freeing up space at our shelter. And of course, once again, always case management, wraparound services, and specifically assistance with goal setting. We find that that's essential in transitional housing, where folks are going to be expected to, live independently after they exit. That's another reason why we're big on promoting employment and financial literacy, and then huge on referring to our mental health department for substance use support. And I would say all of that is glued together by our street outreach services. They go out into the community at least 3 times a week, more frequently when there is a need. Recently, there's been our board of supervisors has agreed to clear the encampments in our riverbed. It's going to happen across 5 phases. We're in the middle of phase 2. We've seen between 30 and 40 homeless individuals just in those first 2 phases. And granted, not everybody is accepting our services, but for those of them who have, we've placed 8 individuals into our shelter or hotels. We've reunited a couple of people with their families. And we're looking for another person out in the community that wanted to go back to Florida, but didn't want to go into our shelter. So outreach never really ends. We've got a project to add additional shelter beds. We're in the process of getting all of that in alignment. Enrique did mention that our Home Resource Center has a capacity of 50, including the THP units in the back. And so there's some talks with our legal counsel about how to increase the capacity so that we can shelter additional folks at HRC.
Hey, Anthony, really quick, it says here 19 total shelter beds are not available. So this is, as soon as we increase capacity, we do have a space that we will increase capacity, and the reason for doing so is to ensure that those that are displaced from the encampments have a place to go for those that are interested. So presently, I think capacity is maybe 4 or 5 additional, but once we increase, we'll have more capacity. So I wanted to just mention that. Go ahead, Anthony.
And I'll just say one of the biggest challenges in our encampment clearing project has been animal control. The pets of our homeless clients are their family members, and so when there's not capacity to accept them at our shelters, then they're not willing to accept services, and then it's been challenging to coordinate with animal control just because different community organizations have different protocols for admitting different costs and fees that the clients aren't always able to pay. And some of our clients have, upwards of 3, 4, sometimes 5 dogs, and maybe a cat or 2. So that was something that kind of threw us for a loop and was a big wrench in our process. And so hopefully by the time we get to phase 3, that kink is worked out. I'll try to speed it up. Our homeless message line is a new resource for members of our community to report newer at-risk encampments, folks that maybe are having issues accessing services, and reports of any abandoned belongings or health and safety concerns. That call line is manned during business hours, but it is a top priority for our department. And I think my next slide is my last
really
slide.
quick, this message line is not to abate encampment. So reporting is mostly on providing assistance. So we are not tying this into the abatement of the other encampments. So it's really to provide assistance for those that are in need.
Good point, Enrique. Some of our members of our community were actually concerned originally that this would be an enforcement mechanism, and so we've really tried to ensure that our message is clear. When they report encampments to us, we are just there to support, not clear and enforce. And then this is my last slide for right now, our hotel vouchers and transportation assistance. And so we've got different funding streams for these resources. We typically grant between 5 and 7 days of a hotel voucher specifically for folks working with us in programs like HDAP. Typically have to give fewer days when we're just braiding resources between transitional housing programs. And all of that is kind of at the discretion of myself and Enrique. And our transportation assistance is provided in the form of tokens with our county transport agency.
I'm going to go ahead and end it. There's just a couple more slides, no more than a minute, I promise. So our department also, under the Community Action Agency, we manage some other programs, including the San Benito County Migrant Center. We have 67 homes for migrant seasonal farm workers. We also work in partnership with the Farm Labor Association. Maybe I didn't put it here. So we contract with them to operate the labor camp, another 272 beds for unaccompanied adults, migrant, seasonal workers. We have the low-income home energy assistance program, weatherization services through our partnership with Central Coast Energy Services, Dreamcatcher program, providing enrichment activities for low-income children. We operate the VITA Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program for 10 years. Last year, we actually handed it over to another organization that took over this program, and yet we still make it available to our clients. Let's see. And then we also manage the America's Job Center. We are the Workforce Development Board as well. So having this integrated within our division does provide access to those that we serve. Having higher increased income is the route to stability and self-dependence. So our goal is to always ensure that we make job training programs available to our clients. And we did submit like the community action in Monterey County. We went through the same process. We did a community needs assessment. We had a report. We had a public hearing. We're going to be submitting our final report sometime in June. It's going before the Board of Supervisors for approval. But anyways, it's we went through that process, and that concludes our presentation. Any questions?
I have a question. With all that's going on, how do you keep it all straight?
Having wonderful staff like Anthony and Velma and Diana and everybody else.
I would say what's been particularly important for the team as they're managing these projects is case conferencing, just doing more of it with our community partners so that we can connect folks with additional resources when we hit a roadblock. I'm actually listening to the sound of case conferencing happening next door to me right now. And it seems to be something that is best when it's a standard agenda, or sorry, a standard calendar item. And so what we found is that having a placeholder on the calendar for case conferencing allows us to not to have to think twice about addressing those concerns and putting out fires as they come. And then when we've got our community partners that are interested in touching base around a client, we're able to just invite them to that standing meeting. So that's I think opened up some capacity for us.
And what helps also, Greg, is having a unit under our division of homeless and housing all in one roof. So there's proper coordination for landlord engagement, case conferencing like Anthony mentioned, and it really lends itself for having good meetings within ourselves and having really strategic, type of sessions. So that helps a lot instead of having it in different departments. Behavioral health does have other programs that are not under us, but with HHSA, all the homeless and housing programs are under this division, Lead Action Agency. All right, any other questions, anyone?
Yeah, Enrique, I want to know the project that you guys were talking about that you're waiting for the electrical to be put in. Are those the tiny homes that?
Correct. So they've been referred here. Tiny homes, so the ranges are from 400, 600, and 800 square feet.
I know I visited those, and I didn't know if that was the same location.
So if you visited these, when you did, we probably had only the 5 units.
Yep. Yeah. Right.
So we did expand, and yes, that's what we consider the tiny homes. As you can see, the smaller ones, this is probably 2-bedroom. This is a 4-bedroom. We have, I think, 3 ADA units within here. So they're in the smaller concept. It's well designed and very efficient.
And they were not tiny. You're right.
Yeah, they're not like,
they're not tiny.
They think about 100, 200, square feet, but they're still in the smaller concept. For a 4-bedroom, we have 4 bedrooms that are 600 square feet, and the ADA ones they're 800 square feet. So 4 bedrooms and 600, it's not very big, but we're able to manage 4 bedrooms and that square footage.
Yeah, no, thank you for the presentation. That was a great presentation.
Thanks.
I do, the one thing I just want to, if there's a way that we can get the shelter, open during those summer hours, I mean, that's going to be a big help for this community because there's not really much for folks to do during the day. I mean, they just pretty much drop them off at the park. A lot of them just get drunk or whatever, and it's not very helpful for anyone, I was going to ask you, is there staff at the shelter during these hours still, or does anyone know?
No, it's actually closed. There's no staff. And Greg, if you wanted to expand as the director of Community Home Solutions.
Yeah, we do maintain a management presence, but the shelter staff are not there during the day.
So I agree with you, Tim. It is our goal. Like I mentioned, I wish we had an abundant funding to keep the doors open and expand in services, bring additional services and activities, case managers, housing navigators, and all that. The reality is it's not as easy to fundraise, but that is our goal.
And I will say we've recently applied for a path-cited infrastructure grant that if we receive it would allow us to start getting Medi-Cal reimbursements, and then we actually could be doing some creative things with that money. So fingers crossed, we get that grant and we can start development. There's still a year timeline for developing that platform that would allow us to start intaking Medi-Cal money. But it's something, and it's hopefully we're pointed in the right direction.
All right, I think our last agenda item is our solution set. milestone. We've reached a milestone. The 5 working groups have been hard at work for several months now. Have done a fabulous job. Really hung in there with this, which I really, really appreciate. The whole board of directors really appreciates it. This document basically formed out of the working groups and the work you've all done, and we did some work to bring things into a common layout and format to produce a comprehensive design document. Katrina, go to the table of contents, please. So just to give you a feel for it, the way this is laid out is that we have the 5 modules, starting with the Advanced Notification and Communication module. And within each module, we have goals, and within each goal, we identify the deliverables or the assets that will be developed to implement those goals. And so we've done that consistently now, and you can see that, you know, it's quite a volume of information, which shows the detail and the thinking that the working groups put into it. I think it's very rich. It's very rich for the diversity of talent within those working groups. And I think looking back, forming those groups was a great strategy. And we don't want them to go away, not yet. Next steps is, as I think you all know, working to finish your implementation plans and to start developing the deliverables and ultimately to implement them. Some of you have actually started to pilot some of your deliverables and different elements of your solution, which is great. You know, no better way to learn how well things are working and where it needs to be tweaked. So I've met with many of the groups and give you my advice as to how to approach that implementation plan in a way that's fairly simple but effective. And then we'll get on to, you know, I shouldn't say get on. A lot of the development has already started, you know, so we want to give ourselves credit for that too. But we're headed toward a coordinated implementation date. We don't know what that date is yet. Obviously, we'd like it to be as soon as possible, but we also recognize, and looking at the design here, there's quite a bit to this design. And it's exciting because I think when you put it all together, you know, what it's going to do is it's going to accelerate that end-to-end process, starting from encampment sweeps all the way through permanent housing. And when it accelerates that process, it means there's greater throughput, which means we're helping more people. Okay, and that's exactly what our goal was when we set off on this journey. So that's where we are. That's where we're going. Invite any questions or comments that anyone has.
I just want to let you all know, if you haven't been able to read this, that is apologies on our end. We just weren't able to send that out. It's been hectic around here. I just want to let you know that the module that I led was the Advanced Communication module. And since January 6th, we've received 33 encampment cleanup requests from Caltrans only, just Caltrans. And that's from January 6th to yesterday, May 20th. And I am one of the groups that have started piloting out my modules. And over this next week, I'll start following up with the outreach teams to see how that pilot is working. So I'm excited to do this. 5/19 was the due date for some of the encampment cleanups from San Juan Canyon to Monterey Trail, all the way down Marina to Monterey, the 101 trail. So a lot of encampments, a lot of people impacted, and a real push on our outreach team. So I know it's a lot. So I need to check in with them, and that's where I'm at right now with my part in the advanced communication.
Well, again, I want to really thank everyone who worked on this. Bang up job. Really, really appreciate it. And let's finish this thing. Let's make a big splash in the community and maybe even in the state. You never know. It's going to be a great story. It's going to be a story that Katrina and her staff are going to tell when they put together different applications for grants.